Okay, so it's Friday morning because it's like about 2 in the morning, I think. I've been up since 11:30 or awake since 11:30. I've been up and down, but every time I tried to lay down, I just couldn't go back to sleep. It just is like sometimes the energy is just it's like noisy. It's like trying to sleep through noise. I don't know how to explain it, but it definitely is noisy. And I don't know if anybody listened to that or watched that video that I shared in the comments yesterday. But another thing he had said, because I had talked about this, and I had talked about how they used my C-section just like a pouch to just keep cutting me open, and kept using the same thing. And in there, they talk about how bad the C-section thing is in cutting into our abdomen like that, and how it has probably something to do with like scoliosis and different things like that. What I had said that scar tissue, I think, was um, not perpetuate, but making it more significant, and so it puts you out of whack. So anyways, that doctor talked about that too. I talked about that, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago when I was talking about working on not just my core but my posture. So my core and my posture, so straightening my spine the best I could, which and all the different things, you just start noticing, like, you put more pressure on your foot this way, or you do this, or you do that. And so it's pulling in and finding where it just everything feels equal. And keep pulling and pulling and pulling in. And so, and breaking down the adhesions, which some of it's these little karate chops, some of it's massaging and stuff. But to me, anything you do to your body, especially when it's from something you've done to abuse it, is you need to be gentle and kind to it, not mean. I'll go look in the mirror, look at yourself. Oh, you fat, ugly pig, you make me sick. That's not the way to treat yourself. Like, you got to go in, and even if you are looking at yourself and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm just really out of shape, I don't look good, I just hate the way I look, is just start with one thing. Just like if you walk into a messy room, when you get overwhelmed, just start with one thing. Don't try and do it all at once. Take it little by little. You don't like how you look and you're upset with yourself, you feel out of control because your body's telling you you're out of control, get control, but you start going against that, and it starts becoming like a resistance. But when you can go into it and go like, oh man, I am out of control, so I will acknowledge this, that I am being out of control, and I will take some baby steps towards controlling whatever it is. So maybe it's like every night now you've gotten out of control and you're eating a bag of cookies and a bowl of ice cream or something, and you're like, okay, well, I can cut out something. So you just find places to like trim the fat. You find places in your lifestyle that you can be like, okay, I can cut that pretty easy. I can, and you just start whittling it down until you get to where it's like, fuck, man, I'm doing great. Then you'll start feeling better. You'll start looking better. But you just got to start somewhere, start somewhere going towards your desires, because your desire is to feel good, to look good, to, represent yourself as, feeling good and being good. So anyways, you just got to start somewhere, because I think so many people get so overwhelmed. But I was just cracking up as though it was like, well, I'm going to watch TikTok, see if there's anything going on. Which there's a couple things, but mostly I was just seeing dog stuff. Like, that dog shit is not going away. There is a lot more activists. There's a lot more people getting active over the dog stuff, and places, becoming active towards these shelters. People gotta realize, like, these shelters are just same fucking bullshit as all this other shit. It's just a way to move money around and mishandling of grant money and stuff like that. And one guy said at Harris County, where they're just mass putting them down, that they're not even feeding them Some of the ones that they are going to put down, they don't feed them for a week or two. It's fucking horrible, man. I can't imagine, how there's humans that can be so abusive and feel nothing towards other beings that are alive. And to me, when I see these people questioning, like they're going to give their dogs away so they can rent an apartment or whatever. And to me, this is my pack. A pack wouldn't do that, It's like a pack is a bond, like a strong bond. I don't know, families have even lost their cohesiveness. So anyways, I'm going to stick with the pack. So, there's just so much sad stuff still going with the dog stuff. I was having a bunch of things coming into my mind. So wait a second, because I was like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Because I was like, man, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. And then all of a sudden it starts rushing. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So while I was talking about that, so it was like overwhelming my brain. So just a second. So the thing that was cracking me up, though, because I do want to say about this, because it's cracking me up. So one thing is Donald has said, like, we're firing all of the AGs that Joe hired, because this is going to keep showing that this corruption. And you got to think about the corporate corruption. I keep seeing these people, like, talking about their food, just like how I was talking about the eggs and the creamer, and it was $15. There's all these people that are looking at those things, like $25, and look what I got. You get like a couple things. And I think they're trying to blame it on Donald, of course, but what people need to see is this is the corporation. The corporation is who's feeding you. The corporation's who's jacking up the price. The corporation's who's renting you places and putting all these restrictions. It's the corporation. We're fighting against the corporation. And these people, like Donald is fighting against them. But I mean, I don't know why the people think like he can do something about the costs of the food. Like, it's the corporation, and that's who he's fighting, the beast. It's a beast system, this corporation system, this corporate system that has, you're nothing but a number. And so, anyways, just keep that in mind while you're going through all this stuff, is the corporation is who keeps jacking the prices up and making things harder on us. And he's trying to fight that the best he can. And it's a big thing. And then plus, this is a big show. Like, you've got to make it all big. It's all got to be a big spectacular. Wait, because it's two words like going together. But it's like, this part of this part of our movie that we're in is like, what is it? Like a big box office, like where everything, they put all this money into it and all these special effects and stuff. That's what we're in. It's like really big. Everything's dramatic. Everything's big. And it's to show, it's so people can see. And also, I wanted to say about the people seeing, I still haven't finished this other thing. I wanted to say, God, it's a throat clearing thing. Yeah, I don't know. I have to get these things that, okay. So, anyways, wow, that really threw me. Okay. There's always talking in my head. So, even when I'm talking, I was talking. So I'm like I've said before, it's like there's like a lot going on in there. And, it's like the Starship Enterprise, and everybody's got a job. There's a lot going on. It's not just me talking. There's a lot happening, and then a lot of times I get interrupted. So, okay, let me gather my thoughts. Because it was a few things. Okay, let me see if I can just get this one thing out of the way. Okay, so the AGs firing all of these people that he hired and stuff like that. And there's all these different senators and all these different people out talking, and I don't even know them all. This woman, I think those ladies, maybe her name was Kathy Mann or something, I don't know, some representative. And this woman, she was, oh my God, I was laughing so hard. So it's an older black woman, and she's fed up, man. She is fed up because you guys need to listen. Quit voting for these people. These people are so horrible. And they get you with thinking, because they really market in certain communities that the Democrats are, you know, the ones that are there to make your things better. And so a lot of people buy onto that and think like the Democrats are going to make it better in their communities or whatever. And so they keep going blue. And this woman is so fed up because she said that, so this woman who's speaking, this lady, and she was talking about all the misspending, and she was talking something about that, but the one that she just couldn't even believe. She can go through all the lists, but this one, she just couldn't even believe it. She was carrying on about it. What is, they have spent, I don't remember the amount now, $10 million or something. So there's $10 million of tax money that they spent to do transgender surgery on animals. She was like, and she's like, they've just gone against God. What is wrong with these people? They've taken our kids, now they're taking our animals. Like, she was just carrying on. Oh my God, I was laughing so hard. It was just, tears were pouring down my eyes. It was so, and I know she's serious, but some of the stuff I can't help it, but it's so funny. I think some of the stuff, it seems like, you know, some of us are kind of crazy, but we're seeing things from different perspectives. And it showed that, like, somebody has this meme going around, and it showed like the anons and the regular people, because you would, if you have been following along, a lot of stuff was in the anons, has a lot of information, because I think that the Q stands for question everything, and so it was it's not a psyop, but it's a mission in order to create thought. And it did take a movement, and it did open up a lot of stuff in a lot of people's minds, and people started seeing shit, and then people started, you know, thinking everybody was crazy. And so but in this meme, it is, everybody's on this roller coaster and it's going real fast, but the anon's just turning around watching them. Like, because that is, it's like observation. It's like, you already knew this was coming. You saw it. You've been trying to yell at everybody and tell them what's going on, but nobody will listen. And so now you're just watching them as they're all freaking out. And it is, I mean, it's not funny on the mean part, but it's funny because it's just, I don't know, it's just funny. I don't know. Some people would think like, that's so mean. But I don't know, it's funny because to see the people just getting so outraged and can't even believe it. And there is so much ridiculousness on this misspending of this tax money shit. It's so fucking ridiculous. And they keep going on and on about the money and giving the money back and all this. I mean, I think that all the conversation is to get more attention. So it's going to be coming back, but all of the, you know, it's like when you're trying to pump up the fire, when you're trying to get more going, and so get more people to see. And they're really working hard to get these people to shift their shift their perspective, because they're so stuck. And so all these little things are things somehow to promote thought or something, or awaken the soul. I don't know, because I'm not in that part. I'm in the part who's just turning to watch and everybody freaking out. It's like, oh my God, this is a show. And it can be super funny. So anyways, so that was funny. The dog thing's still carrying on. People are standing up more and talking about and going and trying to take a stand, wanting people to call their senators and all this stuff. But we do need to close down these kill shelters. Like, it's a scam. And we need to, you know, do better. Think of ways to do better. And one thing, too, think about this. And so when you talk about these people, because I know some people are like, I don't get it. So how is this helping their healing? And so what you may be thinking too deep, too, about healing is, what I see it is So as a being of light, so as an orb, as you in your true form, then you go into all these different experiences. So it's like you can look through every window available, so you can see it from every view. And so that it takes being in different roles, in different views. And so anyways, but in order to get more perspective on your view, you need to see it from a different point of view. So you have the same thing you're looking at, only you're looking at it from different windows, and you see different things when you look at it from different perspectives. And so you are looking at something. So let's say all these people. So you got all these people who are very programmed right now, very indoctrinated, and they're running this propaganda program. It's so based on, like, you can't, there's no talking, there's no narrative. It's just like these snippets. It's like living off of, what are those things on the news? Those little, they try and do everything. CNN all tries to get these little like sound bites. It's like living off sound bites, man. And so, so we got all these people who are like living off sound bites, and they're overwhelmed, stressed out. There's a lot of stuff happening for them. You know, it's not like an easy life, because they think it's easier, because they think like, that they're doing the right thing, or not paying attention. There's a lot of people who think not paying attention to things that are bad isn't bad. They think, well, you know, why would you focus on that? But the thing is like, you don't need to focus on it, but you need to have awareness of it. And so, because that gives you a shift in perspective. And so, anyways, so we have all these people who are distracted in one way or another by the propaganda. And so they are just running a narrative, feeding off of this program or propaganda or whatever. And so you think like, well, you know, how could that happen? Why would they do that? Or whatever. How can that be that this is a normal? Why wouldn't they just wake up? Why would this be a part of their soul's thing and all that stuff? So you can think of it in any way you want to slice it. You can focus on that slice. And so the way I see it is, let's just take a person, for instance, and let's just say in a past life that they were a very domineering father, and they ran their house, and they told everyone what to do. There was no parameters of growth of your own or anything. It was very restricted, constricted, and I mean, it was his way all the time. And there's been a lot of that kind of life for people. And so, and so now he went through that life and had that experience. And so now it's come in, and then you get it from a different perspective. What's it like when someone else is running your life, when someone else is telling you what to do, and you're not living your own truth and stuff? So it's like, then you get this new perspective. So when they wake up, all of a sudden they feel this in the place that it's going to go with their life pattern. So it will, whatever the things are that was a part of this person, then this will kind of it's like the counterbalance. And so that what they didn't see here, it will be seen here, and it will matter. It will make a difference, because that's what they're here for. It's not like somebody's trying to tell them or point it out to them. It will happen naturally. And so it will fill in the blanks for them. And a lot of healing is seeing more, seeing for yourself. And it's an expansion. And so healing isn't, you know, just as, to me, so much of the healing journey is, it's like a replaying. It's like looking at it from different perspectives, looking at yourself And kind of like a lot of it is looking at yourself and kind of having mercy on yourself. Like, and realizing, you know, like you did the best you could. You were trying the best you could. You didn't know, you had limitations. And, you know, one thing too is there's a lot of people out there who stagnate their own healing because all they do is blame other people. And this is a problem for people who are kids. And I did this too. But you start blaming your parents for everything. It's their fault. It's their fault, which is a heavy burden for the parents, but it stagnates your own growth because you just keep saying, well, there's nothing wrong with me. It's their problem. It's their problem. But you are a soul. You're a, you know, an old orb. And so you have your own problems you're carrying in here. And blaming all of your stuff on somebody else is not doing, you know, it's not being the most activated in your, or the most deliberate in your scenarios. So you're not getting all the stuff that you could get from it because you're not taking responsibility for it. You're just saying, oh, well, you know, I would be different if it weren't for them. I would be this way. One thing too, yesterday I was seeing this was, let me see if I can see it right. Okay. So, hold on. When one start having a bunch of them come in. Okay, so, when, I think I'm lost in there. I don't know, maybe it'll come back to me. It's like, that was a lot of stuff, getting decipher through all that. But, one of the, okay, I'm switching because I'm just lost over there. So, I'm going to switch over to this movie that I was watching yesterday. Is I cannot believe how these movies pop up and come in. Like, these aren't not movies that I'm going and searching for. These movies just pop into my thing. And when they pop in, I always think, well, there's got to be some message or something is coming to me for a reason. And so, I'll go watch them. Some of them I can't even finish. I'll be so outraged, you know, but you know, it keeps going and right along with what's happening in the world. It's like, this is so trippy. So anyways, yesterday, this movie pops up called Flashpoint and has Chris Christopherson. All I see is like Chris Christopherson. My mom, that's who she was madly in love with for years and years and years and years. And so anyways, it caught my attention. And I shared the movie with her because I was like, oh, she'd want to see an old Chris Christopherson movie. And so I decided to watch that. And so I, you know, turned it on and it starts going and everything. And I don't know, I just stopped when I was paying attention to it, I just stopped it so many times. It's like, how long can 1 hour and a half movies last? Fucking all day, man. So anyways, but the things that were in it were like, oh my God, I cannot believe how this just goes with what is happening. So the kind of, man, there's a lot to this movie because it's these two border control guys and they find, one of them finds a wrecked Jeep with a skeleton in it. Of course, a big old thing of money and another box that has, some fishing pole, like it looks like he's a hunter, fisherman or something. And so he wants to take the money. So he tells his partner about it. He's like, we need to take this money. So they start trying to do research and figure out, like, you know, is this a bank robbery? They even take some of the money in to have it checked to see if it's legit money or if it's fake or whatever. So they take it in and find out. They're going to the library. They're trying to do this research to see, like, where could this money be coming from? What are we getting ourselves into? And at one point when they're looking through the newspaper and stuff of what was going on in this year, 1963, when the guy's driver's license, the car license, and all that stuff. And so it's 20 years later. And so they're looking for things that happened in 1963. And they're in South Texas. And then it goes across, as it's going, it shows, you know, about the assassination. And I was like, oh, this guy. And I don't remember if this is, at some point, I was like, oh, this guy's involved at the assassination. That's what this is. And so he was part of it and trying to escape or something like that. And so, anyways, but they are not thinking anything about that. They're just still trying to figure out, like, is it this or that or whatever. Then all these men in black at this point, and this is in 1984, and at this point, they're no longer men in black. They dress like the men in black, they look like the men, they wear the glasses, but they're already the cleaners, go in, create, whatever it is that that guy said on that show, on whatever that guy's name is, Joe Sturban or something. What is that? I don't know who that guy's name is. But he had that guy on there. It was a couple years ago. I talked about it. But he talked about these groups, and it's these hidden. I think it'll come out like stuff with the Pentagon or now. I don't know where it's going to come out, but these hidden groups that are not good for us. And so they're like black program people or something. And so he that guy in that other interview said something about their something called cleaners. They'd come and like they can do a whole fucking murder festival or something, and then they set a scenario so it looks like a certain thing, like they're the manipulators of our reality, kind of. And so so those guys show up for some big bust or something's going to go on, and the Border Patrol guys think these guys are legit. They are telling them they're from some government agency. Like, I don't remember if they said they were FBI or something like that, but all these agencies are so corrupt. So anyways, they think that they're kind of on the same team. And then they start to, well, the one guy starts noticing, oh, we're not, I think both of them start noticing, we're not on the same team as these people. These people are something going on. And and I think that there's like a lot of things going on because they're doing these busts at the border or drugs and all that stuff. And then and then there's this money thing. And so there's like a couple of storylines going on, right? But two of the people, so Chris Christopherson, who's the border control, he's sitting out talking to one of these guys who he thinks is another cop kind of guy. And that guy starts telling him, I even did a TikTok, I stopped it, did a TikTok to show it. It was just like, that is so fucking crazy. Because they have been saying this shit right in front of our face the whole motherfucking time. And so he said that he does this whole speech about the system, you're part of the system. And he's like, no, I'm part of law and stuff like that. And so he just like laughs at him. And he says, you know, the political system and politics and stuff. He said, he starts talking about the border thing, and he says, he said, your job depends on these guys coming over here. And if they weren't, that we would be creating the story that they were, because that is how the money moves. And he said that it makes him so happy. He just thanks God every day that he gets up and there's murder and mayhem and drugs. He said drugs, murder, and mayhem. Because that is what they create. Because that is what they live off of. Because that's what this system lives off of. And they say it right there. And if they don't have something going on, they create it. So they create the problems. And then he even talks about the misspending of the tax money, because he said we'd have to create the problem, because how else would we get the $100 million grant to go over here, and that money's got to be moving or something. So see, It's all this corruption and laundry system. And it's all through these grants and these shell companies and all of this nonsense. And so, it seemed like there was another thing in that. And then then it does end up that, well, even on this bus that they're trying to do that these guys supposedly came for, they warned the two border guys. They're trying to sneak over to the airplane, and this one cleaner upper guy, he shoots a thing. So a warning shot up in the air to make sure that these guys know there's problems. And so those guys start trying to take off. And these guys that's where they start being like, what the hell? And because they're trying to sneak up on them. So that they start seeing. And then they found the Jeep. Then they found that it just keeps unraveling, getting more and more intense. But but it does end up that the guy who in the other one under the fishing pole is that took out JFK, and that that money was what they paid the guy, and he was supposed to take off, but he got in a wreck or something and died out there. So they had been looking for this money and the stuff to hide the evidence for 20 years. And then they, whatever, had a lead on. Oh, yeah, because a guy who found it to begin with, this old miner looking guy who lived out in a trailer somewhere, who had found it. He lived out in the desert, or the South Texas, down out in the plains or whatever, where there's no people around or whatever. It's deserty. And he found the Jeep, and he went and told. And so that is where they started coming. And these two guys didn't know. They thought it was more like nobody knew about it or something. But it just kept unraveling, because then they were trying to have these girls check the license. And then that led to more people. Like, it just was unraveling. So anyways, they came and they found it. And then that is and then it was the battle over this money and the information and stuff. But it was just weird, because there's all this stuff coming out about that right now, about all this stuff in this movie. And it's just like all this stuff is coming out right now, and it's like, God, that is just so weird. It happens all the time. And it I don't know, it's kind of aggravating too. But I just think that I don't know, it's like we all were sleeping through life or something, where we're all just focused on weird shit. I don't know. It's so weird how you can see things now and it can impact you, and then you think, like, how did I hear this before? How was I thinking then? Like, did I just blow it off? I know that during the 80s and 90s, there was like so many of these kind of movies, these political movies that were telling stuff. And I knew that shit was real. Like, at one, I think it's Matt Damon in that one movie. And I had talked about this movie before, and a bunch of people put in like their guesses of what movie it was, and nobody was right on that movie. I can't remember. It seems like it's called like The Council or something. I'm gonna have to do some research and figure out what movie this is, because I saw it once a long time ago. It seems like it was Matt Damon, and he's going to get some job or something, because in these, I don't know, headhunters or whatever, they find the people they want, even the criminals. And they're criminal people, like, yeah, the people leaving the military and stuff, that they turn into these mercenaries and stuff, is people who, it's like that they don't have the same feelings about things and stuff. They play off of, like, your internal wiring. And so they put people in different places and stuff. And so, let me think back where I was. Man, I don't know, I keep getting so off. I'm telling you, everything seems so noisy. It seems so busy. So oh my God, it's just going through a million flashes. Hold on. So okay, let me just see. Archie is sitting here. He's got most of the chair. I swear to God, it was the biggest mistake the day I let him come up and sit in the chair. He just comes and sits and bags and back. Now he just jumps on me. It's like, he just wants to be on me all the time. He's like a little baby. And then it makes Stella jealous. And she gets mad because she wants to be, these two definitely have that. Well, Max wants to too. He wants to be on top of me. And I mean, but he, I don't know, he's the middle child. This is the littlest one, and that's the oldest one, and those two are at odds for the attention, it seems like. And the middle one is just kind of like, well, I wanted some. I'm just going to sit over here and pout about it. So, anyways, let's see back where I was. I'll tell you when I got up, one thing is my braid. So I got up, I was going to go pee, and I was like trying to move my necklace, and my braid had somehow merged while I was sleeping and was all twisted around each other. So it was like, oh my God, I could not get it out. I had to take my whole hair down to get it out of the thing. It's like, what in the shenanigans is going on? Like, this is fucking nonsense. All the goddamn time, there's nonsense. It's like, man, this place. And the sky looks so fucking weird. And we were outside yesterday. And it's supposed to be like 60 degrees by next weekend. But we were standing outside talking on the porch with the dogs. And my mom was like, oh, I like how at least it's so bright outside now. And I'm like, yeah, but it looks weird. Everything looks so weird. And I know when I say that, people are always like, it doesn't look weird, but it looks weird. It looks so weird. The lighting is not right. And the way it's lighting up is not right. The color's not right. The sky does not look right. The sounds, oh my God, a helicopter was coming. All of a sudden, it sounded like there was 4 helicopters coming from different directions. And so I was trying to look like, what in the holy hell is going on? Then all of a sudden, it switched back to sounding like 1 helicopter again. And it was so loud. And then it went over. I was like, see, something is going on. I have been saying this with the atmosphere and the sound movement and stuff. And now NASA is saying that the pole shift or something. I saw a girl talking about that there's people saying that the pole has shifted. We've gone through the pole shift now. And she's like, we have not gone through the pole shift. You're not going to miss it. It's not going to be something that happened while you're sleeping. And she starts explaining about the like North Star or something. I don't even know, because she was saying these star names in their science words and stuff. And but she was talking about when it happened, the real pole shift. And then I saw another guy talking about the pole shift too, and he was saying that you know, we're gonna be lucky to survive it if we even do. And she was saying, like, this is going to be very dramatic. I don't know in the physical. All I can say is in the like in the spiritual and the energetic part is how I see the things. So I don't know physically. I know that in the physical, if it's going to you know, tip our world upside down and kill us all, that it would be the people who knew that they couldn't die would be the ones that would carry on and go to the age of Aquarius, because that's happening. That's happening. However it all gets there, I don't know. I don't know if people are raptured. I don't know. I don't know. I know that these storms are going to keep carrying on. I know the landscape is going to change. I saw another guy. There's more people talking about the maps and the landscape and stuff. I know the landscape's going to change, and he was talking about the Great Lakes. I keep hearing a lot of stuff about the Great Lakes, and that the Great Lakes are going to start filling and then the Mississippi, and so that is going to become this big water thing, and that is from the naval map, the Navy saying that, and my stomach is just gurgling and gurgling. My what you call it is better. I don't have the stomach flu thing, I don't think, anymore. But I took some horse paste. So, anyways, let me think back. Okay, so but the weird, there's so many weird things. One of the weird things is, so in Detroit, it was flooding, So some water main or something broke. I don't know. Something broke or something, I think was the word at first. And then they said, in the streets, the water was up like halfway on the cars. So all this water, but guess then what happened? It froze. All the water froze. So they're in a flood that froze. So apparently people are trapped in their houses, which I don't, I mean, are you just standing on ice in your house? How does all that water just suddenly freeze like that? And there is some places that are like -20 below and shit right now. Like, we've got extreme shit going on. But yeah, I don't even know. Some of that stuff, like I said, everything's gonna happen, but some of the stuff when it's like, what? Like, it floods and then it just froze? Like, doesn't it take like a pond or something, some while? Isn't it even dangerous to go on some lakes because it doesn't freeze the whole way across? But no, they've got a fucking ice thing, like, and people are, fuck, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, some of this stuff is so, and then you think about, like, because I had said in the big cities it's gonna get crazy, but anything that goes on is gonna be crazy because there's all these people are all compacted into these places. So everything that goes on is gonna keep getting crazy. And it flooded again over, more floods in the last flood zone from Helene or whatever. So there's more. I'm telling you, when the universe keeps just doing its that in the same place over and over, like it did in Florida, in South Carolina, when it just keeps going and going and going. I think in seems like in Tennessee or something, there's floods going on too. There's so much shit going on all the time. But when all this stuff keeps happening, I'm telling you, it's like the universe warning shot. It's warning, like, get prepared. We're taking this. And there's gonna be so many of these places that are going down, and people just, I don't get it. Because it seems like, why don't they get more in tune and feeling it? Why don't they hear the universe telling them? But if they were meant to hear it, they would. Like, they can't hear it because they're not meant to, and it could be part of their journey is to witness in themselves how they had turned their soul down. They had reduced the volume, so they weren't listening, so they didn't hear this stuff. So it's like you got to tune into yourself. You got to tune into who's watching out. I see it kind of like a ship in life, like you're going as a ship in life, but you can't see everything. So if you talk to your higher self or your guides or whatever, they're up there seeing way more, and they tell you things. And so they can help you, but they're not going to tell you everything. They're not going to stop you from going through the things you're meant to go through. That's one thing, is people got to realize, like, you go through the things you're meant to go through, and you can't stop that. That's like the life journey. And it's way more about you getting to see yourself and understand yourself, like in these different things, like these people who are giving away their dogs and stuff. Like, at the time, it can seem like, well, there was nothing else to do, and they're just, mass murdering all these dogs and stuff. And that the people who feel like, well, there's nothing to do, but then when all of a sudden the lights come on and they see like things in a different light, that is going to kick their ass. That kind of stuff is going to haunt the fuck out of them. And people just don't see it coming. People don't see what's coming. And they're going to have big things to overcome, hard things to overcome. And they don't see it coming. And, but, being somebody who's like watching, I was like, when you're in observation watching, you see a lot of stuff, man. And so, what is it, honey? I think that's all. I think everybody's stomach is gurgling. The dog's, mine, hers, can't sleep. Come out here with Mama if you want. I'm not coming in there right now. I'm doing my work. Oh, lady. She's so emotional. Oh, I just love her. I don't want to lose her. I want her to stay with me forever. I'm really trying to really figure out this nicotine thing. I'm going to look it up today, you know, but I bet there's not a lot of studies on it. Can dogs have nicotine patches on? But I'm really hopeful if it really is curing the CA, because this thing on her chin, I want to get rid of it. Well, any place that she's got that, like, I don't know, she could have a tumor in her ear. I still don't know what caused her to have, like, that stroke or whatever happened where her face was drooping and she couldn't walk for a couple weeks. Like, how good she's doing now is just, it's remarkable. But anyways, I don't want to get rid of this damn sore. So, in my patches are supposed to be here on, honey, what is it? They're supposed to be here on Saturday. What is it? I know. What is it? Honey, let me finish doing this, okay? Are you hungry? Is that the problem? She perks up. Yes. Is that, and she does, I don't know, she's just, I don't know, I just am, when dogs get older, they get so damn smart. They get so damn smart. But Archie is so smart, too. Like, fuck, man. Like, I can say stuff to Archie. Like, I can talk to Stella. I can talk to Archie. And it's like they listen and they, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's different. Definitely different than when I talk to Max. But Max is, but it's not that he's stupid, because he's the one who's figuring out how to break out of, like, every fucking thing, every way I figure out, well, I'll do this and I'll block it. Nope. He just goes, takes his long old arms and fingers and moves stuff around. Like, you can't outsmart him. So, anyways, let me think. Oh, because I don't know, when I get disrupted, that throws me off. But everything to me is like this, it's like this balancing and counterbalance. So what people are seeing and experiencing is like a counterbalance to other experiences, but not just other experiences, because we go through all these different experiences, but this is like this roundup. This is like a completion. So there's a lot of stuff going on, because it's like a completion. Like, I think that there's a lot of heavy relationships and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of things. It's not just like one issue with one person or something. Like, there's issues with this, there's issues at work, there's issues here, there's issues at home, there's issues with the work, with living situation, like all these different things. But it's all of these patterns or stuff wrapping up. It's like things coming to a completion for the end of the age, because you can't, I don't think you want to take these things forward. I think when it comes to this time, it's like a cleansing time. It's like a cleansing time on the earth. It's a cleansing time in the universe. It's a cleansing time for our soul. So it's like we're cleansing ourselves. We're letting go of a lot of old debris and stuff like that. Because you got to think everything's micro, macro. So whatever's going on is going on all different levels. And so this is a big time of endings, because then we have a beginning coming. Like I said, I don't know if like this whole place is just going to blow, and then there's going to be a bunch of souls that are going to be standing there because, they are at a different vibration. They know it's all an illusion or something. And it can be like a snap. It can be like the lights coming on and stuff, which there is more stuff about what's going on in the sky too. There's a guy who's over in South Texas, and he said that a week or two ago, I think it was a week or two ago, it could have been a month or something, but a blue light went flying across the sky and crashed. And now they won't let anyone near that place or anything. So it's like this big drama to show like a crashing. And he said anything that goes, that it's followed and stuff. And there's lots of orbs, a lot of shit going on. And there keeps being these things about these motherships. And so he said he had heard about this mothership and stuff like that. And so if they're going to make these dramas, like they're going to shoot down these motherships or something. But, and there was somebody who was saying there was about to be a big announcement. It's about to be a big announcement, something about what's going on up there. And so everything is, man, there's just so much. Because at the same time, they're unraveling all of the corruption and stuff. It's like it's opening up this whole world outside of the corruption of what's the real world. And so there's so many things going on. But there can still be this huge sky thing coming. And people keep talking about, now they're saying this, I don't know if it's the acknowledgement of Nibiru or Wormwood or whatever, but that they are saying it's going to crash into Earth in the year 2032 or something. And so, we're talking about that coming. But supposedly, Wormwood or Nibiru or whatever is another ship, just like how the moon is supposed to be a ship, and it is, supposedly, it's the Anunnaki, and it takes it's a 25,000 year rotation or something. I don't know, because things are so much different. Like space isn't space. It's like going through different dimensions. It's not just like this vast open space and you got to travel through this vast, no, it's like you're going through dimensions and portals and stuff into other realms and everything. So, however, if it's them coming, but they're not gonna, I don't think, crash into America. They're gonna just land, and maybe that's when we're gonna start knowing more of our truth or something. I don't know how everything's gonna play out, but it's gonna keep playing out. It's gonna keep being weird and crazy, and crazy things are gonna keep happening. But you got to remember what it's all this about, is this awakening people and getting people to look deeper. There's just, in our world right now, it's just built on limitations. So I can totally see how that made so much sense, that people who have been very controlling, now they would be the ones who are going to be faced with the hardest part of being controlled, and they're going to have to look at themselves in a lot of different ways to understand themselves, as how did they get so controlled. But it's the other side of being controlling. And I'm not saying every single person who's not awake yet all are this one thing. It's like there's billions of things, and it's just so vast. Like, you can't even put like two souls and say, well, they go through all the same experiences, because everybody goes through all these different experiences all the time, which develops you in a certain way. And so it's just a whole bunch of different souls and different experiences at different levels of learning and different levels of understanding, and we can all learn from each other. Like, we all have things that we know and understand, and we can learn from each other, but we also have to get into that kind of more way of thinking, instead of this very divisive. And oh yeah, yesterday I heard this lady, and I just started listening to her tell the story. I had no idea who she was talking about or anything. And she starts talking about this woman named, she used the names like Dawn and Mary or something like that. So Mary being the mother and Dawn being the daughter. And there was another daughter. I don't know her name. So Dawn takes the other daughter to the ER. And she tells the mom, don't come. We're just going to go there, whatever. The mom comes to the ER or something. And I don't know, this mom's a drama queen or something. I don't even know. But so Dawn had said, like, well, you didn't need to come or whatever. So whatever, this triggered the mom. Triggered her hard. So she decided to go after Dawn and destroy her. This is her own daughter. And so she starts talking shit to everybody about Dawn. She gets the sister to turn on Dawn. She gets she starts talking to Dawn's in-laws. She gets Dawn's older kids to turn on, like she's getting everyone to turn on Dawn, her daughter. And so the daughter goes to the mom finally and is like, I'm really sorry, whatever I did to make you mad or trigger you or whatever, can we call it a truce or something? Can this, and the mom said, no, God told me to do this. And, and then she told, let's see, let me think, okay, it says now the dad got diagnosed with cancer. So Dawn is going to try and take care of the dad who's dying of cancer. And the mom, because the dad is having anything to do with Dawn, now the mom has told the other daughter to cut off the dying dad. And she's done that. But this is what I'm saying, is some of these people, they do these kinds of things in this life, and then they have to go and have it. It's like it has to be done to them so they can see what it's like to be treated in certain ways. And then we've got such a complication of people going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with this shit. So you can't even be like, who's the chicken and who's the egg? It just goes back and forth and back and forth. That's why you want to go against your natural instincts and be like, wait a minute, why am I doing that? But then another thing is, for her to say that God told her that, people got to quit thinking that God is about division and hate. There's nothing about God. I mean, if you want to think about God, to me, it's not just one singular guy up there. There's lots of gods. There's some of us that are gods. Have been, in situations where we've been thought of as gods and stuff, but it's the energy. So there's a positive and there's a negative. And so when you talk about God, most people are talking about the positive, the light, the angels, the heavens. So they're talking about the positive energy, not the negative energy. But the positive energy is about expansion, creation, love, unity, and stuff like that. It's not about vindictive, hateful, division, nothing about that. That is dark energy. And so these people who think like, well, God told me to do that, and this is the way it is, and God told me to, it's like, I don't know who you're talking to, but you need to figure it out, because they are misleading you into the dark and negative. And so, but people have to figure that shit out for themselves. But there was so many things in that story. It was just like, oh my God. And how many adults just are triggered and become children, just total children. I know, like, I used to be childish back when I would get triggered, but you can heal out of that. You don't have to stay that way. That's the kind of thing is like what I'm talking about, is to start, whittling yourself, to start noticing like, oh my God, I need to get my shit together. Like, is it really that big a deal? And when you start noticing the broken parts of you that drive those instincts, then you can start fixing them so that you're not being driven by your anger and your instincts and your division and your resentment and all that. Otherwise, you're just fucking on the road and chugging along, and that's what's driving you. So, anyways, people have got to realize, like, how deep triggers are too, and how they affect you. And people hear distinct conversations, and they've got to start really realizing that there's a constant communication going on, and you have to really decipher who it is you're talking to. What is the energy? What does it carry? What is it trying to tell you? And then you got to watch out also for the tricksters, because the tricksters will trick you and think that you're going in one direction, but then all of a sudden they got a hold of you and they don't want to let you go because they're feeding off of you. So you got to really watch out, trying to maneuver through that as a newbie or whatever in your communication. You got to take it slow or something, because just like that one guy had said, like, these people just jump out there, I'm psychic now and I'm talking to these, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, they won't leave me alone, they've trapped me. and they won't let me talk to people and stuff. And it's like, yeah, because you got to watch out who you're talking to, because they will do that. And if I've been in a trap, I've been in a trap my whole life, so I don't know anything else. So I don't know, but I know that to me, it makes the difference over what is the messaging, what is this energy telling you, what is it trying to maneuver you towards. And I've just seen like a very distinct different, the dark and the light are very distinct to me. And it just weirds me out how people can be talking so negative and think that that's God. Like, what in the world do you worship? Like, it's so weird. But there's so much of that about religion. And that is going to be a big thing that people are going to have to wake up to, is the promotion of religion was the control of your spirit, and to mislead you so that you would not be feeding your spirit, but you would be draining your spirit, because all of those dark energies are drains to you. They're not building you up. They're not speeding up your vibration. They're draining you. They're pulling you down. They're slowing you down. And they're making you bitter and hateful, and that's not the positive way for a soul to be. So, anyways, God, this hair keeps sticking on my face. Everything. I had to take off my other my other pants under these pants, because the static electricity between the two pants was crazy. We're like stuck together. Man, there's the static electricity is weird. The sounds are weird. The colors are weird. Just the way things look is weird. It trips me out. God, I wish I could quit clearing my throat. It trips me out how weird it looks to me, and how other people don't see it as looking weird. It's like, man, it's so trippy. Like, what is it like to look through other people's eyes, and see what they see? What's it like to experience through another being's reference of perspective, And, but we're so quick to be judging each other all the time. But really, it's just so distinct, our different ways of seeing things and our different perspectives, and what we're here to work on, because you don't have a choice. It's not like you can figure out your lessons ahead of time and stop them. Well, if I just do this, then I'll stop them all. No, they're going to happen. It's all assigned. It's all aligned for you. And so it's all meant for you. And so the things that you're meant to heal are there. So these people who are asleep, who are being so misguided right now, they don't have a choice. It's not like, they have a choice. This is and then they're going to see the purpose of it once they go into their healing, once things turn, once the shift happens and they see it from the other side. And it just all of a sudden, it's like a blossom in their mind opens up. And then that's like the beginning of their healing. It's like this blossoming of a thought or something. But it's like all of a sudden, it's they're so stuck on seeing it this one way. But then some occurrence, and then all of a sudden they see it different. And that's the part where it's going to start growing. But as it's going in that direction, it's going to be like a lot of bumps, a lot of healing, a lot of things. But I just think healing doesn't have to be as burdensome as like so many people think. It's so much more just about just looking at things, looking at them in more perspective, seeing things of about yourself. Like, to me, there were so many things, like, you can't go back and fix things. You can't go back and fix the mistakes you made. And even if you apologize to people, it doesn't really mean much. And I've apologized for things I've done, and people are just like, the next week it's like, well, you should apologize. It's like, I did last week. Well, it didn't really matter. It didn't really help. It didn't do anything. I don't think you really meant it. It's like, oh, I did really mean it. How many times do I have to apologize for this? And so you get caught in this trap of like, feeling bad or trying to fix it for them. You can't fix it for them. They have their own things to fix. We all have our own things to fix. And so, they've got to learn maybe some forgiveness. They've got to learn to not hold on, to not just, ruminate over this one thing and just build it and build it and grow it and grow it, to figure out how to dismantle it themselves. So, anyways, you can't fix it for them, but you can look at yourself and try and understand yourself and then forgive yourself. So much stuff has to do with you forgiving yourself for not being the smartest, not being the best, not being able to see things before you saw them and to understand. But to me, it just makes it a whole nother level when you can look at yourself as a soul and you can see like none of this is real. This is all about learning. This is all about expansion. This is all about like what you can, it's like what you can grow and what you can shed. It's all about this balancing. It's about letting go of some things and building some things up more. And this is a big shift, because what people have been watering for a long time and have been growing is now what they want to get rid of. It's become like an invasive species. And now is the time to plant a better garden and get rid of the invasive species that's taken over your life and your mind and your emotions and stuff. And see how so many people just feed their fetishes. Like, this was so gross. I just heard this like a week or something ago, and a woman was talking about that she, her husband, he wanted to pee on her. Like, that was going to be fun for him. And she was like, well, no, I'm not into that. Which I've had, this isn't a strange request, because I've definitely had people make this request. And it's like, no, thank you. And so she was like, no, I don't want to do that. And so he really wanted to do it. He's all like, I'll do the golden showers. I don't know if he wanted a one on him too, but he really wanted to give him. And so she refused it. So he, I don't know if he always made her food and coffee in the morning and stuff or what, but all of a sudden, all her stuff started tasting weird. And she started worrying that he was trying to poison her or something. And so she didn't know what was going on. Everything tasted weird, but she wasn't getting sick. So she didn't know for sure what was going on. So she went and got a little video thing and put it. And then she started seeing what he was doing. And he was peeing in everything. Everything that she was going to eat, he was peeing in it. And so she confronted him. And then he was just like, I'm sorry, I'm just so his fetish is just, he can't think beyond it. Like, you can think beyond it, but you got to get control of yourself. Like, this just was more confirmation of like, people are just so out of control with their fetishes and their impulses and stuff. And this is a time to get control. This is what this time is about, is you learning how to be who you want to be, not being run by your impulses and your fetishes and stuff, but for you to be able to be in control of yourself. And that isn't, like you have to be a control freak or something, but it's you finding your own balance. Like, maybe there's somebody out there who wants to enjoy your bath time with your golden showers or something, but you can't force it on somebody. And if this person isn't, if you're not in alignment, but that's what so many relationships are all built out of, where people are not in alignment. And that's because that pool is a learning pool. And so much of our lessons is what you don't want. I don't want that. I don't want to be with somebody like that. And so you go through all these things. And I was talking about with my mom too, is like, because so much of life, especially as a girl, I'm sure it's for guys too, but especially for girls, through going through dating, and this guy comes in, he seems like, oh, this guy's gonna save me, he's gonna make me feel so much better, everything's gonna be better now. But you're still the empty shell, and then you're still going into it as the empty shell, needing him to make things better for you, and he's coming into it needing you to make things better for him. So it's an impasse. It's like, It becomes a battle zone. Well, I need this. Well, I need that. Well, I need this. Well, I need that. And so when you go into it though, where you've healed, like I don't need it. I can do it for myself. I'm good. And so you are, and that's not like, hey, I can take care of myself. I don't need anybody. And it's not like that. It's an emotional thing. It's a like, I'm not going to burden you with how I'm feeling. I'll work it through. I'll work through my stuff. If I get triggered, I may talk about like, oh man, that really triggered me. But I am able to not to be able to see beyond that it's your responsibility because of what you did or said, that it's my reaction is my responsibility, and that and when those triggers occur, it's to show you those points in your own self. And so it's just a different way of seeing things. But when you're in the toxic part, when you're not healed and stuff, yeah, you are wanting somebody else to fix things for you, make it better. It's like there's so many kids who want their parents to be perfect and fix things for them. If they weren't, if their parents weren't such idiots, they wouldn't have so many problems and stuff. So, anyways, but it all clears up and cleans up when we start taking responsibility for ourselves, for how we feel. Doesn't matter, if we had good parents, shitty parent, whatever. Those are the parents we came in here to have. Those are the experiences we came here to have. Those were the relationships that we wanted to see ourselves maybe mend, maybe have boundaries. Everybody has different and distinct things going on. So you can't just say it's one thing. Everybody do this. You got to do that. No. Everybody's got to figure out what they're here to do and what they're supposed to be doing. And like I said, you have a bunch of different relationships happening, and it can be a whole lot of different things going on in all these different ones. So it can be very complex, it can be very complicated, and that's where you get into meditation and reflection and stuff, because the more you quiet your mind and the more you go into those deeper thoughts, the more answers you will find for yourself. So, anyways, this is a big time on the planet for reflection, and it's like a healing time. It's like a cleaning up our soul time. And then, once we get our souls nice and shiny and bright, we're going to have this heaven on earth. But there's just a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of things that we've allowed to have happen, even though there was a lot of trickery and a lot of nonsense. But we just got to keep seeing that stuff play out. But that's the stuff that's going to motivate us to go into a more independent, for all these people who've been fucking us over and making us work our asses off and draining us financially, and us never being able to get ahead and always being defeated by the system. That is going to end. Now, their fucking shit ass system's going. The beast will be, it's like the David and Goliath. It's so weird how there's so many of these stories that are playing out. But it is like the David and Goliath, the giant's going down. And it will be the little guy who's going to take him down. It's because the little guy is not going to take the shit anymore. So, anyways, that's why, we got to hear about them spending millions of money when we're all sitting here fucking. There's lots of people who've never even got to go on a vacation. There's fucking people who've never even been on a plane. Like, there's so much world and life out there to experience, and people have been so restricted. And so, yeah, this is a huge time of expansion. And so with all of the drama around the money and all of the hidden hidden shell companies and all of the misspending and all of the bullshit is all it's all the poking the bear. It's all the promotion of change. And so, but we have to see what we don't like so that we can change it into what we do like. So anyways, we're just, it's like a time of a shuffle. We're shuffling through change. And there's tons of people here. And so it's on all different levels for all different people. So it can seem very frustrating because there's a lot of realities, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of merging, a lot of things shifting and happening. But it's going to keep going and going. And then there's going to be enough of a push going in that one direction where it's going to just start getting better and better and better and better. And then there's going to be the aftermath, the people who are still holding on to this other part where it's going to be like, what the fuck am I holding on to? Let's go. And then it's going to be a big wave of change. We're going to just, there's going to keep being waves of change and waves of positive things that'll keep coming in. But there's going to be aftermath, just like, these storms, like they're going to wipe out some of these places. And so there's like these, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like micro, macro. Everything that's happening is happening on all levels. That's the only thing I can think of to say. And so, anyways, I guess I should just get going. And my stomach just will not stop growling. I'm so, and I already ate some graham crackers too. I had some, we all had graham crackers. Maybe they're cricket crackers. Who knows? I swear to God. That's the one thing is like I'm eating more junk, like being here. But then I was trying to put it in perspective. I was like, but I was going and getting all those Danishes and all that bakery stuff. So I was still eating crappy stuff there at the other house too. But I don't know. I still feel like I'm eating more junk now, but maybe it's because I just don't have my kitchen or whatever. But I do look forward, man, not having one really gets you into like, God, I can't wait to have a kitchen again. God, I can't wait to have a warm, I can't wait to have a fireplace again. Can't wait to have a little fire going. All that firewood I moved that last summer, she did like 2 fires. Her thing keeps exploding. I don't know what's going on. She said her thing's clean and stuff. But anyway, she keeps having problems. So none of that wood's getting used or anything. But it's all in storage now. But she does have a whole bunch out there still piled more. So anyways, whatever I was going to say, we'll just wrap this up. Let's look at my tooth. And let's see how that's looking. And it's going lighter. That little part is getting darker up there. So anyways, it's going to keep doing it until all of a sudden it's not doing it anymore. So it is, it definitely feels like it's building up. So, but this still has this part where they had took off the sharp part. So anyways, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And so just remember, because I'm telling you, what we are doing here is we are learning how to love ourselves, because how do you even exist without loving yourself? It's a hard life. If you don't love yourself, it's rough. I lived it for a while. It's much better to like yourself. So learning how to love yourself is important. So when we're learning how to love ourselves, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it really is up to us. We really do have some control here. So anyways, I will talk to you later. Bye.